Hello there. I'm Phil. I'm not an actor or a performer, but I like to make movies. And this is an experiment I'm working on. There are times when there are books that I really love and that inspire me greatly, and transport many of us to another universe. None struck me with as much detail as J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth. So, with that said, I'm attempting to record an audiobook. Most definitely won't be doing all of it. But not just any audiobook, as you can just buy those wherever you go. Because Tolkien's writing is so dense with description and content, you can't help but have second thoughts if it was all made up, or if it actually happened. It would only be fair to try to create something a bit more unique and fitting. A hybrid of an audio drama and an audiobook. Which means amplifying the level of realism in audio form, including sounds you would hear if you were in the situations described and read to you, hopefully adding to a far more realistic, natural, and immersive experience. So far I've only completed one random chapter from The Two Towers, but more random chapters will follow. Along with a recording, I might be illustrating a quick concept design-like picture for the video screen, just because I really love The Lord of the Rings, which is the book I'm going to read portions of, and hope to share how I interpret the descriptions from its writing, but mainly just because you don't want to see a blank screen for most of the time you are listening. And yes, I was one of the people who watched the first two films before reading the books. Doubtless the film's visual universe is now how I will always see and base my point of view towards this world. So think of this as the films, but greatly expanded. And as I'm reading everything, I'll try to give each character their own and distinct sound, but I promise you I can't do it all perfectly. With that said, I hope you enjoy this experiment, and please keep in mind, this isn't a professional endeavor. I have to do all this myself, and with that said, there may be some mistakes, some glitches or mishaps along the way. Most importantly, this is just a personal project I'm working on from time to time, and it's obviously free to listen to. And of course it will include the musical score, and as I've said, I own no copyrights, nothing like that. So I think I've covered all that I wanted to say. And of course the text is copyright to Tolkien Enterprises. And after every chapter is over, I'll have an MP3 available for download, in case you want to take this with you, if at all. Amari. I always wanted to say that. Hey there. As if doing all this creative work wasn't enough, I sought to create a rather semi-unique experience through the use of the medium of audio. Knowing that Tolkien's work would never truly be 100% translated, details and all, to the big screen, and also knowing that simply listening to an audiobook lacks the feeling of immersion so precisely written and described, I've had the idea of experimenting on a hybrid of an audio drama and an audiobook. Reading the book word for word, but not stopping there. Also trying to imitate the voices of each character and, to an extent, act their dialogue. The most important thing in this, however, is the addition of Howard Shore's music from the movies, which is prominent throughout the audiobook, and of course, the sounds. The backgrounds, noises, and sometimes even footsteps were mixed, and many even designed and recorded by me. For example, I do many of the horse and monster sounds, and to further create a more immersive experience into Tolkien's writing. And I've included highlights of a completed chapter, and another one to show you exactly what I mean. Included are also paintings created by me as well. With no further to say, I bid you welcome to this experiment in Middle-earth.
We've hoped you'd enjoy this wonderful presentation by Phil Dragage, and hope that you will buy the book. Just kidding. It's for free, of course. It's on YouTube, and the MP3s are always available for download. But in any case, we hope you've enjoyed it. Now, it is 2:31 a.m., and I should be going to bed. But guess what? I stood up to read this entire book, and, try to talk with my British accent, which of course I do not have, because I actually sound like this. However, my voice is always the same, and I can change it whenever I want. So now I sound like Peter Serafinowicz. Yeah, kind of. When he's in space and he goes, "Tim, I'm not a monster, Tim." Which is what my voice sounds like. Yes. I should work on my British accent because I know that I get many inflections wrong. However, I don't know what kind of accent I'm producing, but I've had many people in the UK who've been listening to this audiobook, say that it was all fine, so I guess I've been doing something right. Anyway, we thank you for listening and hope you will enjoy this, what could be maybe 10 hours of audiobook. And I'd like to continue, of course, but right now I think I need a rest, because book 1 is done. Thankfully, it's the thickest of the books. And, book 2, I will read that, and I especially look forward to the Council of Elrond, which is this epic 2-hour chapter with many stories and different characters. Hopefully my voices will be a little bit better, and, see, I don't know how to do the ends in Britain. Ands, and. So yes, thank you very much for listening. You've been a great, wonderful, of course, J.R.R. Tolkien's marvellous work, which I greatly admire, especially with all the details. Although it was kind of hard for me to read many of the details, since there was many descriptions of when they were walking and stuff. But that all adds to the atmosphere. It adds to the immersion of the entire journey. And thankfully it's a 10-hour journey. My goodness, you people must be real fans, just like me. Presumably. So yes, I will stop talking because this is pointless, and I'm standing up here on my computer, and I just can't stop. I just can't stop babbling about it, because I just can't believe that I actually read these. How many pages we have here? 200. I can't stop with the British accent for some reason. 283, but then again that considers the prologue as well, so that... let's see what we got here. It starts at page 27, so that means that I read around 250 sort of pages, give or take. My math's pretty bad. So anyway, my math is pretty bad. So anyway, thank you very much. Namarie. Elves don't talk like that, with a raspy voice. Namarie. I hope I did the songs good too, because there was a kind of problem. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for reading. We will continue this in a few weeks. Or a month. Give or take. I don't know. Okay, I'll stop. Good night. Oh yes, the blooper reel. You knew this was coming. As I could, but the truth was desperately important. In the end, I had to be harsh. I put the fear of fire on him, and wrung the true story out of him. And the poster on my room, it is falling down! The three, fairest of all, the elf lords hid from him, and his hand never touched or sullied them or sullied them. And they became ring wraiths. Through Mirkwood and back, and through Milkwood. The woodman said that there was some new terror abroad, a ghost that drank blood, a chupacabra. Always after a defeat and a respite, the shadow takes another shape and grows again.
I wish it need not have happened in my time.
I wish it need not have happened in my time, said Fred. He thought that he would soon have to part with his young friends. Oh no, Jacob's going to play guitar and I can't record.
No, I'm not going to play guitar. Quiet. Look, how loud is it?
That's fine. And where he had learned all this floor. And at last he slowly drew out the chain and slipped the ring on the forefinger of his left hand. No! Elrond of Ivanrel fell on Tinuviel, that in his arms lay listening. Ah! Nice Viggo Mortensen scream there. And one more chapter to go. La 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 la. Ole, 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 Tomaja! Many sorrows befell them afterwards. See how I said afterwards? Afterwards. But from her lineage of the elf lords of old, something happened. And they have lost her whom they most loved. But from their lineage of the elf lords, okay, let's see. But from her lineage of the elf lords of old. But we should have to cross it if we try to take, Suddenly, a low voice murmured, "Sing the song, okay? Good." What? I have to be loud so I know on the others. That is a song, he said, in the mode that is called Anthenath, though the elves... There they left Sam and Picket till it faded behind a fridge, that from the sound of them were evil relatives of the cricket. Letters! But as on the third day out from Bree they came out of the Chedwood. On the third day out of... As much as we must. However, in the mean... He was silent for some time, and then he began not to speak, but to chant softly. Oh, the king returns. Strider sighed and paused before he spoke again. On business of their own. A foot above the lower hem, warming him and bathing his soul. I will do all I can. I will do all I can to help it. It is fortunate that I could find it, for it is a healing plant that the men of the West brought to Mither. Last chapter, baby. All right. I hate you. I hate you. In the distance they glimpsed yet another river in a stony valley, and that on the wings rode pursuers that sought him in all the hollows of the hills. Cheer up, emo kid. And meat was hard to come by. I'll do this later. Oh la la la. That is bilberry wine, said Aragorn. Bilberry wine, bilberry wine, bilberry wine, bilberry wine, they all said in unison. Yes, said Strider. The Fairy King gave it once. The Fairy King. He said to a Poggle that it was cold as gold, and bright, like silver. I get my lore wrong, said Strider hastily. But it will do.
It'll do, pig, it'll do. Sorry. As quickly as they could, they scrambled off the beaten way and up into the deep heather and bilberry wine patch. Bilberry wine. And the hobbits left the brushes and... The hobbits left the bushes... the brushes. The hobbits were painting. The hobbits left the bushes... What's wrong with me? The hobbits left the bushes and hurried down into the wilderness. In the wilderness. There are evil things written on this kilt. Because the Scottish Black Rider. Their piercing cries were drowned. Buried suddenly under angry foam. Angry foam, said Glorfindel. At once the white horse, and beyond that the ford of Rivendell. About time. Even their great steed were no match in speed for the white elf horse of Glirfindel. On he led them into the mouth of darkness. Ooh. With the bone he boned from its owner, donor, boner. Trozo's seat is still the same, and the bone he boned from its owner. They'll laugh at my boner, will they? Woo-hoo! When they came to the corner, they looked around and saw that the path ran on over a level. Our peril will be greater just ere we reach the river. Good. And that, my friends, is the end of Book 1.